We are standing by for the president to depart the White House. One would think he will face questions about all the Jeffrey Epstein developments. They have cast a shadow a bit the last few weeks over the administration. But this morning, the president kind of faces a different problem among a key voting group. CNN's chief data analyst, Harry Enten, is with us this morning. What group are we talking about, Harry?
We are talking about independents, Mr. Berman. And I will say this is the biggest warning sign, the biggest danger sign for President Trump in his second term so far. Why is that? Because it does not appear that there is a bottom to which Donald's support can't fall to. What are we talking about? Trump's net approval rating with independents. You know, there was all this hubbub about Gallup that came out this past week. You see, back in January, it was minus 2 points. Now it's minus 35 points. But what's important here is Gallup is largely matching the average. Back in January, in the average, Trump's net approval rating with independents was minus 3. Look at where it's fallen to now, minus 29 points. That is a drop of over 25 points with the key part of the electorate. If you're not winning among independents, you're probably not winning overall. And when your net approval rating is minus 29 points, you are definitely not winning overall when you're that low with independents.
It's just the size of the drop. I mean, it's staggering.
It's huge.
Okay, so how does this compare historically?
Yeah, you know, we were talking about Trump's overall approval rating, that it was the second worst overall. But we look among independents, it is the worst on record at this point. My goodness gracious, worst net approval ratings ever 6 months in among independents. Last time around, Trump broke the all-time record at minus 23 points. He is even lower than that now at minus 29 points. He has broken his own record for the worst on record. As I said at the beginning, there appears to be no fall, and Trump is certainly falling through that floor.
So during the Biden administration, I think there was a lot of thinking that maybe enough focus wasn't being paid to the effect that inflation had on people's thinking. And it may very well be that inflation's playing a bigger role in opinions than we recognize.
Yeah, so inflation in my mind was what cost Joe Biden the presidency more than any other factor, and it brought him down. But guess what? Donald Trump at this point, his net approval rating on inflation among independents, it's actually worse than Biden's was a year ago. Biden was way, way underwater at minus 38 points. But look at Trump and the average of polls on inflation. Oh my goodness gracious, minus 45 points. I never thought I'd see the day, especially this early on in the Trump administration. The issue that in large part got him elected is at this point the issue more so than any other that is dragging him down. If this is what we have on midterm day come 2026, I can promise you this. The Republican majority in the House, you can wave adios amigos, goodbye to it, because Republicans, simply put, can't win with this number.
Harry Enten, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Democrats are on a mission to keep the Jeffrey Epstein scandal in the spotlight throughout Congress's August recess. According to Axios, the DNC is buying ads like this in 11 vulnerable Republican districts.
This is a serious issue. The highest volume of calls into my office have been about Epstein.
There's also this one, accusing Republicans of covering up the Epstein files. The DNC says it is a 5-figure ad campaign, which is actually pretty small, especially when trying to reach 11 different districts. So, is this just performative or a sign of what's to come? My panel is back. So, is this an effective strategy for Democrats as they try to regain the House?
Oh, yeah. I mean, just keep talking about Epstein. As a matter, like we reported yesterday and you guys were covering it, they were introducing amendments in a number of committees, House and Senate. Just talk about Epstein as much as you can talk about Epstein. There's very little.
Can they stay on that message, though?
Sure. Why not? I mean, Trump's helping them. You know, why not? Republicans are helping them. They, like you talked about, subpoenas. Subpoenas will be coming in, you know, later this month and next month. That's going to take a while. They should talk about this as much as they can for as long as they can. And I think if this keeps Republicans on their back foot, why not? You know.
It's this remarkable moment, though, where Democrats have been struggling with messaging all year round. And who would have thunk that this was the issue that was going to sort of bring Democrats together? And
can they stay on that? Because they want to be like, talk about health care, or talk about this, or whatever. Can they stay on this?
I think as long as their polling shows that this is an effective messaging strategy, they will continue to stay on this.
And why not? And why can't they talk about all this stuff? They can talk about Medicaid. They can talk about this. I mean, they should stay on this as much as they can. I think this is an effective, because Republicans have shown up to this point, and that's why they left town, no ability to can get any control on this scandal at all.
And look, I say the Democrats were very strategic this week in forcing these issues in the Capitol. That's what forced the House essentially to leave for recess early. They were successful in forcing through a subpoena for all the Epstein files. They caught Republicans flat-footed on that issue. So they've been successful in stymieing the legislative agenda at the moment.
Yeah, and for whatever reason, Epstein is one of the rare unifying issues in American politics. That is, the overwhelming majority of American voters who are polled say they want more information released. It's a rare winner for everyone, but Republicans are having trouble because they can't release enough to satisfy the base. And so this is something, but as you say, a five-figure ad campaign is really enough of an ad campaign to get us to talk about it, and basically nothing more. That is not a lot of money in politics today.
Is the Trump team worried about this?
Well, I mean, I do think if you have talked to Democrats, and you guys have talked to more of the members of the Hill than I have, but Democratic sources, I mean, it's been a pretty demoralizing 6 or 8 months since the election, right? Watching Trump sort of come in and do what he's done, and in some ways not having much ability to resist his agenda, sort of struggling with what the message should be. I think this is really the first time I've seen in the Trump world a sense that they've lost a little bit of control of the narrative in the presidency. For like the last 2 weeks, I was talking to someone yesterday who was saying to me, you know, Trump has this sort of supernatural ability to often change a topic. And this week it's been, you know, talking about Tulsi Gabbard and what she's saying about the Russia investigation, talking about X, Y, Z, but none of it's really sticking, right? And so you saw him again today try and do that as well. It seems like this is the first time in the presidency that he's really tried to move the news cycle in a way and has not been able to do it. Now, whether that's 6 or not, I mean, you guys all know politics is pretty ephemeral. This could go away in 2 weeks. We could be talking about something extraordinarily different. That's like part of the presidency. But this is really the first time I've seen him not be able to move it the way he wants to.
No question about it. So how do voters feel about all this? There was actually some focus group sound that just came in from Nevada voters who voted for Biden in 2020 and Trump in 2024. Now, you listen to these voters. All 12 of these voters know who Epstein is. 6 of the 12 say Trump is covering up Epstein to protect his own reputation. 6 of the 6, though, and this first group of voters say inflation matters more than Epstein.
It just feels like typical Trump deflection, right? Like, give me a straight answer about Jeff Epstein and let's move forward, right? But instead, I'm going to talk about all my successes. I'm going to get you kind of thinking like, oh, this is a minor topic.
I feel that he has fear about if this gets turned out, what would happen to him. So he is trying to, as someone had said, deflect.
I think we have more to worry about in our economy and things that's going on with us in the United States than someone that is already it's out of the picture.
I think there are bigger fish to fry. You know, how is that going to affect? While I do have empathy for the people who have been affected, how does that affect my life right now?
The economy is what it is. I have very little I can do with the economy, but I can say that I want to know everything about Epstein. I want the entire American public to know exactly who's being protected.
So it's kind of conflicting.
Yeah, that was it, but the economy is not great news for the moment for Trump either. His poll numbers in the economy have softened a lot. His approval rating, I mean, Wall Street Journal had a poll today, had good approval ratings, but Gallup showed real bad numbers. He's losing independence. His economic numbers are not great, talking about inflation. So, but it's not Epstein, so he'd want to talk about that. But it's still, it's not necessarily going from strength to strength with Trump. It's going from a disaster to a problem area, but at least one he's comfortable talking about.
There was an extraordinary scene yesterday with him going to the Federal Reserve, right, and sort of haranguing the chair of the Federal Reserve on camera. I mean, when's the last time we've seen a president go to the Federal Reserve and challenge a Federal Reserve chair on camera, put a hard hat on, and then do a press conference calling on him to lower rates? I mean, it was not exactly subtle what he was trying to accomplish there. I mean, that was certainly an effort to move to another topic.
Subtlety is not what Trump is known for.
Want the interest rates lower, 3%. That's all I need.
Yeah, I mean, and also look, in that same focus group, 7 of the 12 participants, they say they disapprove of Trump more generally. So while, you know, Epstein economy is more important, the economy is more important than anything else, perhaps has an impact on their overall view of Trump. I think about a lot of times. I try to think about this. I think about the way Afghanistan.
Exactly.
It was not
August of 2021.
August of 2021
changed everything.
It
For
changed
its entire
everything.
presidency.
And that's not necessarily a voting issue for many voters, but it affects the perception of the president.
Yeah, and in that case, the Biden people had come in saying, we're going to be the competent ones. We're going to handle everything competently. And then Afghanistan changed the focus. Trump comes in as, I'm going to be the truth teller. Like, that is the message to the base. And then now what? You're hiding something? You were supposed to be the one that was going to blow up the establishment. And now you're saying, well, but believe the FBI. It is a challenge, but I still think that in the end, come the midterms, it's about the economy, and the president owns this economy. He is doing so much with tariffs and everything else. This is his economy, and either Republicans win or lose on how it's doing.